hot jalapeno. I'm a hot jalapeno. No, literally, it's hot as fuck under here. I'm gonna change. I'll be back. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna be discussing Halloween movies. Starting off, we have Monster House, suggested by this lovely subscriber here. So we have our main character DJ, who is a young boy, and he is stressed, pressed, and obsessed with his neighbor, Mr. Nebbercracker. Crazy ass last name. And when I tell you DJ is invested in whatever the fuck Mr. Nebbercracker has going on, he's invested. He has a telescope facing his house. He documents his every move. He's in that bitch. Mr. Nebbercracker is a neighborhood grouch that lives across the street from DJ and his family. Anytime somebody comes near his house, he comes out angry. He's very much a get off my lawn type of old man. For example, in the very beginning of the movie, there's a little girl riding her tricycle. She gets stuck on the edge of his lawn and he runs out, yells at her, screaming at her, and like breaks her tricycle, and the little girl runs off. Mr. Nebbercracker has signs on his front lawn. They say beware, they say keep away. But given that Halloween is literally the next day, it just looks festive, therefore inviting. And it seems that DJ has tried to tell his parents about Mr. Nebbercracker in the past, and it's no different today, as DJ's parents are leaving for, it looks like a dentist conference. They have a big ass molar with them, and they have an incisor and shit. But DJ is trying to tell them about Mr. Nebbercracker, and they're not listening. As they're leaving, DJ's best friend Chowder arrives. He has his brand new basketball, and he's excited for Halloween and wants to discuss costume ideas with DJ. But DJ tells Chowder that he's not sure if he's going to be trick-or-treating this year because he feels like more adult, like maybe he's growing up a little bit. Somehow, some way, Chowder hits himself in the face with his brand new basketball, and they see that his basketball has made it onto Mr. Nebbercracker's lawn. We know Mr. Nebbercracker enough to know that this is not good. This is worst case scenario. Chowder begs DJ to get his basketball for him, so DJ wanders on to Mr. Nebbercracker's lawn, and he's right there. He's right by the basketball, almost to the point where I want him to just grab it and fucking run. But before he can even bend down to get it, Mr. Nebbercracker has come outside. He's yelling. He's riled up. At some point, he grabs DJ and is like holding him up in the air, which seems pretty impressive. He seemed like a frail man, but he's like, you know, throwing kids up in the air and shit. I said, okay, Mr. Nebbercracker, I see you. But Mr. Nebbercracker gets so worked up, he ends up collapsing on top of DJ. Cut to Mr. Nebbercracker's house. The house like visibly ruffles, and inside the house we see a fire spark lighting the furnace. Next thing we know, there's an ambulance. They're pulling Mr. Nebbercracker away, and as they're pulling him away, the grass on his lawn is like trying to hold on to him and trying to hold on to the gurney. And as Mr. Nebbercracker is being pulled away, DJ notices that he's dropped a key and collects it. And because the ambulance drives off with no sirens, Chowder and DJ conclude that Mr. Nebbercracker is dead. So DJ is freaked the fuck out because he's convinced that he's killed Mr. Nebbercracker. And just as the ambulance drives away, DJ's babysitter Z pulls up to his house and Chowder goes home. Z seems like a super sweet, super chill babysitter, but we find out that that's a facade when she realizes that DJ's parents have already left. She immediately turns into Vicky from Fairly Odd Parents or some shit. DJ is in his room when he has a nightmare about Mr. Nebbercracker's home. And I'm not sure if it's a nightmare or if this shit actually went down, but it looks fucking creepy. DJ's phone starts ringing. He wakes up, he answers it, and it's just somebody on the other line breathing. He hangs up, they call back immediately. He answers, hangs up again, and calls the number back, only to hear Mr. Nebbercracker's phone ringing across the street. Just creepy, because you know, he's dead. Why the fuck is he calling DJ at this hour? Why would he be calling him at all, even if you were alive? Why are you calling young boys in the neighborhood? That's kind of weird, no? Just as DJ realizes, oh shit, the call was coming from Mr. Nebbercracker's home, Z and her boyfriend Bones come into his room to like bother him, I guess. He's trying to explain to Z that Mr. Nebbercracker died that day and he's receiving phone calls from his home, but of course she doesn't believe him, Bones doesn't believe him. So DJ calls Chowder and is asking him where his parents are. Chowder says that his father is at his pharmacy and that his mom is at the movies with her personal trainer. I said, what the fuck does Chowder have going on in his house? He's gonna be the child of divorced parents soon enough, because what the fuck? Unless they're open, I don't know. But the point is, Chowder is home alone, meaning he can go meet up with DJ so they can talk about what the fuck is going on with Mr. Nebbercracker. So DJ is trying to sneak out of the house and he overhears a conversation between Z and Bones, and come to find out, Z thinks that there is some truth to what DJ has been saying about Mr. Nebbercracker, because as I mentioned, when she pulled up to the house, she's seen an ambulance leaving his place. And we find out that Bones has also been victimized by Nebbercracker. Bones explains that when he was 10, he had this red kite, it landed in Mr. Nebbercracker's lawn, and of course, anything that lands in Mr. Nebbercracker's lawn gets taken. And he said that he's seen Mr. Nebbercracker talking to his house and kissing it. We also find out that there are rumors that he ate his wife, which that is an insane ass rumor. DJ sneaks out the back of the house while Z is kicking Bones out the front. Apparently he was trying to get too fresh too quick. She said, you gotta go. Bones is very clearly inebriated as he makes his way over to Mr. Nebbercracker's lawn. He's like pulling up the grass and shit when he sees the door open and sees his red kite. It's kind of just kind of just floating in the doorway, which even in an inebriated state, no, I'm not fucking around with that one. I'm gonna go home. Like, I'm an adult. I'll just buy a new kite or something. I don't know shit. But not Bones. Bones goes to the front door, grabs the kite, and is immediately pulled into the house. So DJ and Chowder meet up at what looks to be a construction site, and DJ is trying to tell Chowder that Mr. Nebbercracker is haunting him. Chowder does not believe DJ, and to try to prove to DJ that he's tripping, he's like, let's go to the house. They go back to the house. He tries to do a ding-dong ditch, but when Chowder rings the doorbell, the house comes alive, like, and starts to resemble a face almost. Like the windows look like eyes, the door is like a mouth, there's a carpet too, and it looks like a tongue coming out of the door mouth, and it doesn't look like a Pee-wee's Playhouse friendly, like, I'm a house and I'm alive, waka waka waka. It's like a bitch, I'm a monster house, that's the name of the movie, I'm gonna eat ya. DJ and Chowder see this and run to DJ's house. The next morning, we find that DJ and Chowder have not gone to sleep. They've been studying the house since they realized that it was alive. They're locked the fuck in. They haven't left the room. They've been peeing in bottles. They're doing time checks every hour on the hour. They're checking to see if there's any movement with the house and to see if anything has changed. As they're keeping watch, they notice a young girl who will come to know as Jenny, and they immediately start swooning, but they lock in once they see that Jenny is approaching Nebbercracker's home to sell candy. So they quickly run outside to save her. At first, she's looking at them like, what the fuck? And then the house tries to eat her in the most obvious fashion, to where if you were to glance outside your window, you would see this shit. I'm talking infrastructure is popping up. There's a lot going on. But before the house is able to consume Jenny, the boys are able to save her. And literally just as they save Jenny, Z comes outside of DJ's house, and Mr. Nebbercracker's house goes completely back to normal. Z notices that something has happened, but she's not exactly sure, so she asks DJ, like, what's going on? Of course, DJ starts explaining, okay, the house is a monster. She stops him immediately and starts to walk towards Mr. Nebbercracker's home, and DJ has to like physically stop her and say, no, like, don't go over there, because she's trying to figure out what's going on, but also doesn't believe DJ when he says that the house is alive. But nonetheless, Z says that she's going to leave to try to find Bones, which I'm gonna tell you right now, she's not gonna find him anywhere that isn't Mr. Nebbercracker's house, because that's where he is, eating. 8. So Jenny joins DJ in his room with Chowder, and they're basically like trying to have a debrief of what the fuck just happened. Jenny asks to use DJ's phone so she can call her mom, and I know that's right. I'm like, come and pick me up. I don't even live in this neighborhood. Get me the fuck out of here. As Jenny is calling her mom, she notices the bottles of pee that DJ and Chowder have left, and immediately Chowder switches up. Mind you, they were both peeing in bottles, but Chowder like flips it and is like talking to DJ like, oh my god, you did that? That's so disgusting. And we now know that Chowder is the type of homeboy to make you look crazy in front of a girl. But Jenny leaves the room to finish the conversation off with her mom, and now DJ and Chowder are having it out because they're trying to figure out who should get dibs on Jenny, which is fucking crazy. So Jenny returns, surprise, surprise, her mom doesn't believe her, which if my kid called me and told me some shit like that, I wouldn't not believe them. Like, I'm gonna hear them out at least. That one time, me and my little sister were hanging out, and I heard a noise come from her purse, and I said, what was that? It was a strange noise. It sounded like a voice, but it didn't sound quite right. My little sister says, oh, my purse can talk. Now, I didn't believe her per se, okay, but I believed that she believed that her purse could talk. So she's going on and on telling me how her purse just started talking one day, and how my mom is also aware, our mom is also aware that her purse could talk. So I'm intrigued by this. I was like, wow, like, interesting. Again, I didn't believe that her phone could talk, but I'm just intrigued by what she's telling me. Like, wow, y'all believe your purse can talk? But let my little sister tell it. I'm just that gullible, because it wasn't her purse talking. She had a notification on her phone from the Sims mobile game. Until this day, she'll be like, remember that time you thought my purse could talk? But like, to be clear, I didn't believe that her purse could talk. I was open to the idea that that was a possibility. But the point is, I would hear my child out. So all three of them are looking at Mr. Nebbercracker's house. A little dog is like, doing its business on the lawn and then gets ate up. So they say, that's it, let's call the police. Smart kids, but not really smart kids. Because if your own parents didn't believe you, what the fuck makes you think that the authorities are going to believe you? So DJ, Jenny, and Chowder go outside to wait for the police, and they come to the realization, they're like, oh shit, tonight is Halloween. There's going to be kids trick-or-treating. They're going to come to this house and get ate the fuck up. So then the police arrive, and we meet Officer Lister and Officer Landers. The kids start explaining to them what's going on to the house, but of course they do not believe them. To prove that they're not making it up, DJ goes onto the lawn and he starts dancing on the lawn and shit, busting a move, trying to get a reaction out of the house, but the house is smart enough not to do anything in front of the authorities. So now DJ just looks crazy. Chowder grabs a rock and throws it at the house, and of course that's like, not vandalism, but that seems like a destruction of property. I don't know, police jargon shit. Officer Landers isn't fucking with it and is like, okay, y'all stay away from this man's house. If I see y'all at this man's house, Again, y'all are going in the hole. Leave it alone. And because law enforcement has been no help, Chowder and DJ seek help from Reginald Skolinski, aka Skulls. Skulls is a pizza delivery guy, he's really good at video games, and Chowder and DJ idolize him, clearly. They tell him about the house being possessed and he believes them. It seems that Skulls has some sort of knowledge about this type of thing, and he says that when a human soul possesses a house, then it becomes like a monster, you know, a monster house. And DJ's like, oh shit, the house is Mr. Nebbercracker. And Skulls tells them in order to kill the house, they have to strike the heart. But it's like, damn, what the fuck, it's a house. Where would the heart even be? And as they're walking back towards DJ's house, DJ realizes that Mr. Nebbercracker's chimney has been burning since he died. So they say, boom, the heart is the furnace. DJ, Ginny, and Chowder devise a plan. What they're gonna do is they're gonna get a dummy, they're gonna fill it up with cold medicine, knock the house unconscious, go in there, and put out the fire. Chowder steals a bunch of cold medicine from his father's pharmacy, and they make a dummy. It's like they put a jacket and a little Halloween mask on a vacuum, and they basically fill that bitch up with cold medicine. The three of them creep across the street in little trash bins as a disguise. They get the vacuum, which I don't know what kind of suction this vacuum has, but they plug it up with an extension cord, and it starts moving towards Mr. Nebbercracker's house. They ring the doorbell with a slingshot. The house is activated, and just as the house is about to eat the yum yum dummy cold medicine trap, the police arrive. Lister and Landers pull up. They see that the kids are on some bullshit on Mr. Nebbercracker's property, and the house of course goes back to normal. The three are put in the back of the police car, and just as Lister and Landers is about to get in the car, Lister hears a noise and goes to investigate it. Landers goes to investigate. They end up getting eaten by the house. The house uses its tree hands to grab Lister, and then it uses its freaky deaky rug tongue to grab Landers. Mind you, the kids are trapped in the back of the police car, and at first you think, okay, maybe they're safe, maybe they're good, because we haven't really seen the house attack or try to eat anything or anybody that goes beyond the lawn. But no, the house uses its tree hand and then eats the car. But luckily, the kids are able to jump out of the back window of the police car before being swallowed. They end up getting trapped inside the house, but the house doesn't seem to be aware that they're inside. DJ determines that the only way out is through, so they're gonna continue on with their plan to find the furnace and to put the fire out. So each of them are kind of looking around. Chowder notices that there are some explosives. DJ notices a set of binoculars facing his home, and he was like, oh shit, Mr. Nebbercracker has been watching me this whole time. And I'm like, yeah, okay, you've been watching him. You had a whole telescope. I think he was just matching your energy. Ginny is noticing photos of Mr. Nebbercracker and his wife, and she's asking DJ, like, have you ever seen her? And DJ says no, but there are rumors that he fattened her up and ate her. Which, again, those are crazy allegations. If I ever had allegations like that, I'm leaving the neighborhood. I'm moving out. So they're looking around, and Chowder sees a chandelier, assumes it's the heart, and is like, oh my god, it's the heart, we need to shoot it. So everybody's shooting at the chandelier, and it's clear that it's not the heart. It seems that after they shoot it, the house throws up. Ginny is kind of looking around, establishing like the anatomy of the house. She's like, okay, that's the tongue, that's the mouth. She's like, oh shit, the chandelier is the uvula. You know, that little dangly thing that's swinging in the back of your throat. So they continue exploring the house. They end up falling into the basement, and they see all of the toys and all of the stuff that's landed on Mr. Nebbercracker's lawn over the years that he's taken. So DJ stumbles across what looks to be a cage, and on the cage it says Constance, the giantess. DJ sees a lock on the cage and remembers that he has the key that Mr. Nebbercracker dropped the day that he died. So he unlocks the cage, they go inside, and Constance is there, dead, buried in cement. So we establish that the wife eating rumors are not true, but what the fuck? Ginny is looking around and sees that there's like flowers and candles, and she's like, I don't think that he murdered her either. Like, that doesn't seem quite right either. So DJ falls onto Constance, breaking the cement mold, and it seems like there's nothing left but skeleton, which means that she has been there for a while. So the house starts rumbling. The house knows that they're in there now, and so they hide. Here goes fucking Chowder. His basketball is bouncing in the basement. He sees it and he's lured out. He gets taken, then Ginny gets taken, and they're all about to get eaten. Ginny grabs onto the uvula and starts swinging on it, causing the house to vomit the children up onto the lawn. So DJ is in the middle of the street when he is hit by an ambulance. So he's laying on the ground. The driver of the ambulance comes out, and it's Mr. Nebbercracker. So DJ is relieved that Mr. Nebbercracker is alive because, like I said, he literally thought that he killed him. And then we're sitting there processing. We're like, wait a minute, hold up. If Mr. Nebbercracker is alive, who the fuck is the house? And then we start to see Mr. Nebbercracker talking to the house, who is like visibly upset, visibly shaking. The house isn't even trying to hide the fact that it's alive. And Mr. Nebbercracker is not hiding the fact that the house is Constance. He's talking to her and he's like, shh, it's okay, easy, girl. And he's like, honey, I'm home. Seems like a weird thing to say when honey is the home. DJ is now aware that the house is Constance, and he approaches Mr. Nebbercracker and he's like, hey, I know about Constance. And Mr. Nebbercracker is like, oh shit, you were in my house, what the fuck? And DJ is looking at him and he's like, you didn't kill her. And Mr. Nebbercracker was like, no, I loved her. So when Nebbercracker was a young man, he fell in love with Constance, who at the time was a circus attraction, being displayed as a giantess. And you can tell Constance was very unhappy with her current life. And it's not like she was performing and was loved and appreciated. She's getting booed. She's getting made fun of. People are throwing tomatoes at her. So after the show, Countess is in her fucking cage, which, why the fuck is she in a cage? I don't fucking know. And Nebbercracker approaches her and he's like, hey, baby girl. He said, I can take you away from here. Do you want me to take you away from here? And she says, hell yeah, get me the fuck out of here. So he gets her cage, which it feels like a weird thing to say, okay, attaches it to his truck, and they drive off. You can tell Nebbercracker really loved her. He bought them some land, started building them a house and everything. And they must have been the first to touch down in the neighborhood because they look sparse as fuck. They look like the only people there. They didn't have no fucking neighbors. It looked like they were the first to put down some brick in that bitch. So Nebbercracker was still in the process of building their home when one Halloween day, there were a pair of kids taunting Constance. They're like throwing eggs at her, they're laughing at her, and this naturally pisses Constance off. Nebbercracker is trying to assure her that she's safe with him and that it's gonna be okay and that it's just kids fucking around on Halloween. But that's not enough for Constance. Constance grabs an axe and starts going at the kids. Nebbercracker tries stopping her. She loses her footing and ends up falling into what is now their basement. And as she fell, she grabbed on to like the scent mixer machine and it poured on top of her. Nebbercracker finished building the house, but Constance's spirit never left. And I'm like, gee, I wonder fucking why you kept her body in the basement? Like, no wonder there were allegations that you ate your fucking wife. And Nebbercracker explains that every Halloween, he has to take precaution because children are walking up to the house and anybody that goes near Constance, aka the house, gets attacked. I'm like, oh shit, it makes sense why Nebbercracker pulled up in an ambulance. I think he broke out of there, stole the ambulance so he could make it back in enough time for Halloween so that no kids got eaten. So DJ is telling Mr. Nebbercracker, like, it's time to let her go. And Nebbercracker is afraid that he'll be alone. And DJ's like, no, you won't be alone. And this pisses Constance the fuck off. She unplants from the ground with her tree arms and just like starts arm crawling towards them. Nebbercracker just got out of the hospital, so he cannot keep up with them. So the kids run ahead. Constance is trying to attack the kids. They end up just outside of the construction site when Mr. Nebbercracker throws a brick at Constance's back. Nebbercracker is telling Constance, like, you need to leave those kids alone. And she is fucking pissed. She turns around and she like yells at him, or more so roars at him. Like, it doesn't sound like a human yell. It sounds like a monster yell. Like, and she has to calm herself down. She has to like pull her house teeth back in because it looked like she was just about to fuck him up, but she calms down. And Nebbercracker is trying to calm her down. He's talking very calmly to her and he's like being very gentle with her. And he's like, oh, you've been a bad girl, haven't you? I would have been like, I don't know. And then he pulls out an explosive and then Constance gets explosive. She snatches him up, but then Chowder kind of like grabs or claws at Constance with a claw excavator. Like I said, they're at a construction site and apparently whoever was running the construction site left the keys in the little construction vehicles. So Constance disregards Nebbercracker and starts tussling with Chowder and the claw excavator. So Mr. Nebbercracker hands the explosive to DJ and he's like, hey, you need to finish this. So DJ tells Chowder to lead Constance toward this big ass, tall ass crane. As Chowder is doing so, he falls into this big ass ditch. Constance falls into the big ass ditch and the house like crumbles into a bunch of little pieces. So Chowder is excited. He's like, oh my God, I did it. Ginny and DJ are excited. They're like, oh my God, you did it. You killed the house. We're done. We can go home now. Psych as fuck. Constance rebuilds herself in the most ridiculous way. Like, she almost looks like a wooden house version of a deep sea creature. You know, the kind that are like, they have like the little light hanging off their head and shit, and they look horrendous. She kind of looks like that, but like if it were a house. Chowder continues luring Constance towards the crane. DJ and Jenny are crawling up the crane, and it's tall as fuck, to the point where I would be like, I'm just gonna go home. Especially if I was Jenny, I'd be like, this honestly isn't my problem, and I'm not gonna, what do you want me to do about this? I'd like, honestly, let the authorities handle this. They can see this now. Like, they can't, you know what I mean? Are they gonna say that we're lying now? Look at her. Constance is out here walking around on her tree arms. I'm not doing this shit. I'm a child. And then not only do they have to go up, they have to like crawl to the edge of the crane. It's just too much. And DJ is like, I can't do this. And Jenny gives him a kiss, I guess, for some inspiration. And so he does it. He said, all right, I'm going out here. And that's, you know, some people need Scooby snacks to do what they gotta do. He needed a kiss, I guess. They light the explosive, drop it into the chimney of the house, and the house explodes. Chowder, Jenny, and DJ reunite on the ground in just enough time to see Constance's spirit dancing with Mr. Nebbercracker. And then she floats up to heaven. All right. I mean, go off, I guess. She was coming at kids like an axe murderer. It's not for me to say who goes up to heaven. I just thought that was interesting. Mr. Nebbercracker is very grateful. He's thanking DJ, and he was saying that for 45 years, they were trapped. And I said, you know what? Hell yeah. Because initially I didn't really consider Nebbercracker and Constance to be trapped, but I'm like, that's so true. Constance was trapped as a literal fucking house. You know, that's not living life or anything. Like, you're a house. And then on top of that, Nebbercracker was having to look after her and look after everybody who approached the house. So I guess like that, you know, that wasn't a life to live for either of them. So they go back to Nebbercracker's property. You know, there's no longer a house there. There's just, I guess, land, and then wherever the basement was, I don't know. And it seems that they're giving out and returning toys and items that Mr. Nebbercracker had taken over the years to trick-or-treaters. Like the little girl from the beginning of the movie got her tricycle back. And in my opinion, I just feel like her mom isn't asking enough questions. I would have like, sir, why the fuck do you have my daughter's tricycle? We would have been approached that shit. If my daughter ran home to me and was like, hey, Mr. Nebbercracker stole my tricycle and broke it, huh? I'm gonna have questions. We're getting the authorities involved. We're figuring out why the fuck you have my daughter's tricycle. And the fact that her mom isn't really questioning it now either, she's just like, all right, cool, you got your trike back, let's go. So Jenny's mom comes and picks her up, and it seems that Jenny plans on being friends with DJ and Chowder, which is really cool because it seems like an unsuspecting group of friends. And it looks like the type of group where two of the three are gonna become a couple. And the other one's just gonna kind of be third wheeling. And we can guess who. DJ and Chowder walk across the street just in enough time to see that DJ's parents have returned home. And when they see DJ and Chowder, they think that they're all roughed up because of their Halloween costume. And she's like, oh, you're dirty pirates for Halloween, which is a fucking reach. It's like, it's your son in his normal day-to-day clothes, roughed the fuck up. And you have no questions about that. I said, okay, I let that slide. It's Halloween. But I'm like, your neighbor's house being completely fucking gone? Like, there's no house there right now. It's just, there's nothing over there. You seen that when you pulled up and you had no questions about that. I thought I was queen of minding my own fucking business, but nothing touches DJ's parents. Like, they took minding your goddamn motherfucking business to a whole new level. DJ decides that he does want to go trick-or-treating with Chowder, as he should. All the crazy shit that they seen that night and all the crazy ass shit that they discovered that night, I feel like they just need to go be kids. We see that Bones survived. He ends up leaving out of the hole where the house was, and he has his kite with him. And as the credits are going, we see that Lister, Landers, and the puppy all survived, which is good to hear. It's good news. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't 100% sure that Nebbercracker did not kill his wife. I'm like, okay, she died in a tragic accident, and you kept her body there? And I don't know, I know grieving is weird, so there's that. I'm like, okay. But then I'm like, you locked her body in a cage, the cage that she very obviously hated while she was alive. Why would you think to do that? You know, in my mind, up until we see Constance dancing with Mr. Nebbercracker, I was kind of convinced that he did take her from the circus and then held her captive. And then, of course, there's also, like, wedding photos of them together. So it's like, I'm sure everything was on the up and up. It was just such a weird thing to do, I think. And low-key, on the slick, I feel like while she was alive, Constance kind of fucked up a good thing. Nebbercracker pulled her out the trenches, was building her a house, and she let her anger get the best of her. That's really upsetting for me. They could have lived happily ever after, but instead, it seems like they were together for a short time. And then, you know, she became a house. a monster house. Now onto the 1993 film Hocus Pocus. So it's 1693, we're in Salem, and we have a trio of witches, aka the Sanderson sisters, Sarah, Mary, and Winifred. It seems that they've lured Emily Binks, a young child, from her home and into their quarters. Winifred is brewing up a life potion, and it seems that they're going to give this potion to Emily and absorb or consume her life force. And just as the sisters have given Emily the potion, Emily's brother, Thackeray Binks, Thackeray that is, T-H, hard T-H, not Zachary, Thackeray. He storms in, knocks over the cauldron, spilling the potion everywhere, and before he's even able to get to Emily, Winifred zaps him. Thackeray is a little too late. They've already given Emily the potion, and they've already started absorbing her life force. And when they're done absorbing Emily's life force, they're hot, they're young, they're it. The sisters are vibing. They're like, hell yeah, we ate that shit up. We need to brew some more, and then we're gonna get all the kids in Salem. And then here goes Thackeray talking shit. He calls Winifred a hag. And being petty, Winifred summons her little spell book that looks creepy as fuck. It has an eye, and it's made of human skin. And she curses Thackeray to live forever as a cat. So the townspeople have caught wind that the Sanderson sisters are inside their home being witches, and given that this is Salem, this is the wrong place and time to be a witch. We already know what the fuck is gonna go down. The townspeople and the Binks family have the sisters set up to be hanged. Thackeray and Emily's father is asking Winifred, okay, where is my son? Where art thou, my son? And of course, Winifred does not give any information about Thackeray's whereabouts. And then the sisters start chanting and harmonizing and shit. And they declare that they will return and that they will be summoned by a virgin on All Hallows Eve. And then, you know, they're killed. And poor Thackeray is a cat, and he's like trying to like get his father's attention. And his father is like, oh wait, beast, which is like hardcore for like a cat, like a beast, which I suppose during that time, you know what I mean? Maybe a cat wasn't a household pet. I don't fucking know. I wasn't there. But so it's 300 years later, and the story of the Sanderson sisters is being told in a classroom of high schoolers. And the teacher that's telling the story is eating the fuck down. She's telling the fuck out of the story. All the kids are engaged and they're all having a good time, except for Max fucking Dennison, who happens to be our main character. He's just moved to Salem with his family from California, and he's very skeptical of the witches. He literally thinks that Halloween was invented by candy companies. Like, he's just not with what the town has to offer. And then one of his classmates, Allison, kind of schools him a little bit, and she's like, actually, All Hallows Eve is based off the ancient feast and blah, 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 blah. One day that the dead can return to the earth, blah, 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 blah. And everybody's like cheering and shit. And then Max the Rizzler Dennison uses this opportunity to give Allison his number, like in front of the whole class. Like, he shoots his shot. I said, okay then, pop off. So after class has ended and after school has ended, Max catches up with Allison outside, and they're kind of just having small talk, and he's apologizing, like, oh, I'm sorry if I embarrassed you in front of everybody. But she seems really chill, she seems really cool, and she's asking Max how he's liking it in Salem. He says that he does not like all the Halloween stuff, and he doesn't really believe in the Sandersons. And on that note, Allison says, okay, here, and then walks off, looks, she's returned his phone number. Allison, the anti-Rizzler. It was because she was so nice about it and so smooth about it. When she handed him the piece of paper, I said, oh, maybe she's giving him her number. But no, she was like, I'm returning this shit, bitch, because you're not about to ruin spooky vibes for me during this spooky time of year. And I said, girl, I know that's right. And Max did not know how to play ball. Clearly, Allison is very much into Halloween. She's very clearly a spooky girly pop. And you just sound like a pessimist ruining all the spooky vibes. Like, if he was smart, he would be like, yeah, like, you know, I just don't know enough about it. Like, he was like genuinely trying to shoot his shot and shit. He should have like, I don't know enough about it. Like, you seem real smart in this type of thing. Maybe we can get together sometime, yada, 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 yada. But he doesn't. He drops the ball, being like, nah, all this shit is fucking lame. The thing that you're interested in and clearly knowledgeable about is fucking lame. And he kind of dropped the ball there. So Max is riding his bike home. I said, motherfucker, put a helmet on if you're gonna be rolling around like that, okay? He eventually slows down and he's walking his bike through a cemetery where he meets Ice and Jay. Ice and Jay rob his ass. There's no other way to put it. They don't do it in a way that's like, give me all your shit, but they do it in a way where it's like, give me your shit or we're gonna fuck you up. So they take his Nikes. By the time Max get home, he's pissed because duh, he just got fucking robbed, huh? His parents are unpacking and they're like, oh, how was school? He's like, it sucked. And Max's mom notices that he's not wearing shoes, and his dad is like, oh, it's probably out of protest. I'm like, your son is out here getting bullied. Y'all need to get on that shit. So Max goes up into his bedroom. He's laying in his bed and he starts spooning with his pillow, pretending that it's Allison. And he's like fondling the pillow and he's like, oh, Allison, you're so soft. And on that note, Max's little sister Danny pops out the closet. It seems like she wanted to do like a little cute little Halloween prank. She said, let me pop up out this bitch before he fucks his pillow. And then Danny jumps on the bed and is mocking him for fantasizing about Allison. Danny doesn't even know who Allison is, but she's like really milking this shit. And poor Max, all he wanted to do was come home, unwind, be caked up with his Allison pillow, and now he finds out that he has to take Danny trick-or-treating. Apparently, their parents are going to town hall for a costume party. Sounds like a lot of fun. Max and Danny are out trick-or-treating and they run into Ice, Jay, and their whole fucking squad. And it seems that Ice, Jay, and their whole fucking squad, they're just standing outside of a house, like taking candy from children. So Max sees them and immediately is like, okay, Danny, come on, let's go this way in the opposite direction. And then Danny walks straight up towards them thinking she's hot shit. And when they try to steal her candy, she's like, my big brother Max is here. And she's like, come on, Max, beat their ass, Max, come get him, Max. And Max walks up and Ice and Jay recognize him and immediately start making fun of him because they literally just robbed him earlier that day. And the altercation ends with Max giving them his candy and then he grabs Danny and they go. And if I'm an adult and I'm handing out candy and I look and I see there's asshole kids bullying smaller asshole kids, stealing their candy and shit, I'ma say something. Max and Danny have moved on to the next house and Danny is ridiculing Max on how he handled the situation. And she's like, you should have punched them. I think it's cute that Danny sees her brother as like her hero and shit and sees him in such a way that she thought he was gonna be able to just beat up a whole gang of dudes. Like, I think that that's really sweet, but it's like he did try to like divert the situation. He did say, okay, let's go this way, and her ass didn't fucking listen. And so Max snaps at Danny and in a response she runs off crying. I do understand where Max's frustration is coming from. He's moved to a new town. He literally got robbed. He got rejected by Allison, not Pillow Allison though. We all know Pillow Allison is down to clown. He's having a rough day and very clearly took that out on Danny. And I do love that Max apologizes to her. And of course, Danny forgives him and they continue on with their trick-or-treating. They come across this big house and they're like, oh snap, rich people live here. And let me tell you, when I was a youngin', that was the name of the game when it came to trick-or-treating. You wander into a rich neighborhood, you're gonna get king-size candy bars. I remember one time I did that shit with my sister. They were handing out Sunny D's and Capri Suns and shit. Granted, my mom didn't let us eat any of the candy because she was paranoid that somebody, you know, fucked with the candy. So we were just out there doing it for the love of the game, okay? My mom always had like replacement candy, I guess you could say. Like, we would come back with our bags of candy and she'll be like, okay, here are the bags of candy that I have bought and assessed and know, you know, it's safe for you to eat. Go off. So Max and Danny go inside the house and immediately they see a big ass bowl of candy. They said, oh hell yeah, we're here. So they start grabbing pieces of the candy and oh my gosh, it's Allison's house. Allison comes down the stairs and Max is like, oh shit, Allison. And Danny's ass is like, oh shit, Allison. And you already know Danny is prepared to embarrass Max. She tells Allison like, oh yeah, Max just loves your yabos. Your titties is what yabos are. I've never heard that a day in my life, but that's what the fuck is going on here right now. And Max knows better than to say anything towards Danny at this time because she knows about Pillow Allison back at home. One misstep and she could be like, we can go there if you want to go there. I know Pillow Allison hate to see a real Allison coming. So Allison is telling Max and Danny that her mom used to run the Sanderson Museum, but they had to shut the museum down because spooky shit was going on there. And then here goes Max Dennison with the brightest idea to go visit the museum, which is like low-key. It was kind of smart for him to do that segue because he kind of flopped before, I'll admit. When they were on the school grounds, he kind of dropped the ball there, but now he's picking it back up. He said, I'm not done yet. He said, I have something to prove. I cannot go home to Pillow Allison. I need the real deal. So he tells Allison like, yeah, we should go, make me a believer, like take us there. So when they get to the museum, Allison is giving like a cute little tour. She's like, oh, they slept upstairs because mind you, their home, the Sandersons' home was turned into a museum. She's like, this is Winifred's spell book. So then Max comes across a black flame candle and he's reading like a little description. And it says that on a full moon, it could raise a spirit of the dead if it's lit by a virgin on Halloween night. So it's Halloween night, it's a full moon. And here goes Max goddamn motherfucking Dennison fucking around and he's like, oh, we should light it and like see what happens. Max tells Allison, he's like, do you want to do the honors? I feel like he was low-key saying, will it work if you light this candle? You out here fucking Allison? Are you putting out like how Pillow Allison puts out? So then Max is attacked by a black cat. The girls are like, okay, we've seen what we needed to see. Let's get the fuck out of here. And then Max very quickly lights the black flame candle. Max, be so fucking for real. And I can see why Allison didn't want to deal with his ass to begin with, because it's like, bro, you're not even taking this shit seriously. Like, be so for real right now. So the house starts shaking. Candles are lighting by themselves and shit. And then in walk the Sanderson sisters. And I'm like, Max, how fucking stupid do you feel right now? 300 fucking years. And nobody has dared to fuck with this shit, and it just had to be you. So they all hide. The Sanderson sisters come in. Mary is like, oh shit, I smell a child. And that's like her whole bag. That's her whole thing right there. So she sniffs Danny out right away and is very specific in her sniffing capabilities. She said, I smell a girl. She's like 7, maybe 8.5. Like she clocks Danny down to the T and is able to lead them directly to where Danny is hiding. Like, impressive, okay? There's no other word to put it. That's pretty impressive. And immediately the sisters are trying to eat Danny. Mary calls Danny a shishka baby, which I don't know why it's so fucking funny to me, because it's like, why the fuck would you call her? Why would you call her that? So Max jumps out. Winifred like zaps him. Allison pops out. She saves Danny. And then Danny saves Max. And the girls run out. And Max like somehow he's like on the fucking ceiling now at this point. And he gets a lighter and triggers the fire sprinkler system. And he's like, oh, it's the raining fire of death. So the sisters freak out. They take coverage. Max jumps down, falls. And then the cat jumps on him and is like, oh, hey, I need you to go grab that book. Like, he's like speaking. He's not meowing. He's like, hey, go grab that book. And I'm like, oh shit, it's Thackeray Binks. Max grabs Winifred's spell book and runs out. And by the time the sisters realize that it's just water and not a rain of death, the kids are already gone. So mind you, they've been gone for 300 goddamn years. So everything is freaking them the fuck out right now. They're used to dirt roads. They see pavement and think that it's something dangerous. And because the fire alarm was triggered, the fire truck is driving towards them. Alarms and lights and shit. So they see that shit and lose their fucking minds. Winifred is telling Mary and Sarah that they need to get shit popping that night, because in the morning when the sun comes up, they're gonna become dust. And she tells them that the potion that they made the day that they died works, but they need the spell book in order to get the ingredients. So Thackeray, aka Binks, leads Max, Danny, and Allison to the cemetery because witches can't step foot on there. They'll be safe there. And he explains that he's been guarding the house on Halloween for 300 years to prevent a virgin from lighting the candle. He tells him about Emily and how he has yet to be reunited with his family because he's immortal. So at this point, the sisters have caught up to them. So of course they can't set foot in the cemetery. So they're kind of like hovering over them on their witch brooms. And because they can't physically step into the cemetery and grab the kids and grab the book, Winifred brings her ex, Billy Butcherson, back to life. Apparently, she poisoned him for canoodling with Sarah, her sister Sarah that is, and sewed his mouth shut so even in death, he couldn't tell her secrets. That's some hot-ass boiling tea. His sister, he kept it in the family? Winifred instructs Billy to get the kids and get the book. Binks leads them into the Salem crypt. He says it connects to the sewer, and then of course the sewer connects to the street, so they're able to escape from there. And I'm like, damn, like did the city not want to clean this crypt up a little bit? There's literal skeletons and shit in there. And like, they could be Halloween decorations, but who's decorating a crypt that leads to a sewer? You feel me? Like, it just seems like nobody has gone down there. So the sisters are like, okay, bet. While Billy is going to get the book that has the recipe for the potion that they need and get the kids, they're like, let's go get all the other kids in Salem so then we can eat their life force up and live forever and ever. They're outside the cemetery. A bus pulls up and the bus driver is totally into whatever the sisters got going on. At one point, Sarah is sitting on the bus driver's lap driving. It just so happens that Binks and the kids are coming up from the sewer during this time, and the bus runs over Binks. So Danny is crying and freaking out because she's like, oh my God, he's dead. And I'm like, girl, what part of immortal do you not understand? I was like, he's been around for 300 years. Let him regenerate. And of course he regenerates. While the sisters are on the bus, Mary tells the driver to stop. She says, I smell children. We need to get off here. They get off the bus. They're in a neighborhood. It's full of kids, but the kids are dressed in Halloween costumes. Mary's confused. She said, I smell children, but I don't see them. They see a man handing out candy and his costume is the devil, but they think that he's actually the devil. And the dude is just like super friendly and invites them into his home. He's like, oh my God, the Sanderson sisters. Like, I guess he thinks that they're in costumes too, but they don't realize that that's not actually the devil. They see his wife and she has like curlers in her hair and they're like, oh, it's Medusa. And the wife just looks fucking over it. And I don't blame her, because why are you inviting random people into our home? And then she sees Sarah dancing with her husband and it's just too much. Wife is like, y'all need to get the fuck out. She sticks Ralph on him. And Ralph said, y'all gotta go. My mama said y'all gotta get the fuck out. So the sisters are back outside. They see that their brooms have been stolen. And I'm like, way to get fucking sidetracked, bro. Like the way that they were falling off task, I said, y'all need to lock in and get it together. And at this point, they're aware that the kids are wearing costumes and they know that that wasn't the devil. Meanwhile, our kids, Danny, Max, and Allison, try to approach a police officer to get some help on the situation. Max is telling the police officer that he lit the black flame candle and that the Sanderson sisters are back. The police officer thinks that they're pranking him and tells him to scram. But come to find out, it was a reverse prank because the police officer wasn't a police officer. It was just a random dude in a police officer costume. So they go to the town hall to find Max and Danny's parents, and this party looks lit. Little town hall party, this little town hall costume party that they got going on looks really fucking lit. They have drinks, they have live music. It looks like a good ass time. They find their dad, and we see where Max gets his Riesling from. It's his dad. He's over here kissing the back of Allison's hand and shit. But they end up getting the parents together. They're trying to explain everything to the parents about the Sanderson sisters, and they do not believe them. And I would have literally crashed out on Binks. I would have had to pull Binks to the side, and I would have like, Thackeray, Binks, tell me how the fuck this shit works. Like, do you become nonverbal when we need to prove to people that this shit is real? Do you just turn into a regular cat whenever we're trying to prove to people that this shit is real? Like, what happens up here with you? What changes within here, within your heart, Thackeray? What happens to where you don't fucking speak? I didn't say anything with the police officer. Kept my mouth shut. I said, okay, maybe he's a little shy, but right now is the time for you to speak the fuck up. What is going on, my guy? So then Danny notices that the Sanderson sisters have caught up to them and they are in the town hall at the party. And so Max runs to the stage trying to warn everybody, and he's like, hey, your children are not safe. The Sanderson sisters are back and we need to act now. They put a spotlight on the Sanderson sisters. Winifred steps up and she's like, oh, thank you for that marvelous introduction, and then puts on a fucking performance of a fucking lifetime. I said, oh my god. So everybody thinks it's like a gag and like it's a part of a performance or a show. Her and the sisters get up on that stage and they left no crumbs. I said, they ate down. They ate down. They did their rendition of I'll Put a Spell on You, and it ate, okay? The crowd loved it. Everybody loved it. Everybody was in there jucking and jiving. It was a good time. Billy is also in the party. He's chasing the kids, and the parents are just like, no help at all. Max and Danny's parents, just no fucking help. Like, they're like, oh my god, I should have brought a camera. And I'm like, holy shit, do you have no questions for your kids right now? Because if my kid, like, put on a whole performance for town hall, I'm like, how the fuck do you even know where the town hall is right now? Like, we just moved here. How do you know these three women on stage? Who is this guy chasing y'all? Like, I would have so much more questions. But I mean, I guess the parents were a little lit and they were having a good time. They probably didn't want to believe that anything was going on. They said, we needed a break from you motherfuckers, okay? This is our one night to turn up and you're ruining it with your shenanigans. As the sisters are singing, they're implementing a spell in the lyrics. All the parents there are just stuck dancing. They're dance, dance, dance until you die. So the kids run off and Allison has a plan to lure the sisters into their high school's kennel. It seems like a big ass kennel for like large sculptures. They lock the sisters in the kennel, turn that bitch on, and then they burn. And they're so happy. They're like, oh my god, it's over. They invite Binks to live at home with them to be a part of the Dennison family, and it seems like everything's going well. So they all go back to the Dennison's home, and Max is like somewhat surprised that the parents have yet to return. So they all kind of tuck her down. They're all kind of like hanging out in the same room. Danny is cuddled up with Binks, and she's just like absolutely in love with him. She's like, I'm gonna take care of you, then I'm gonna have kids, and they're gonna take care of you, and then when they have kids, they're gonna take care of you because he's immortal. Allison is cuddled up with Max, but I'm like, ain't no way. There's no way. And I guess Allison's whole thing was, oh, he doesn't believe, so I'm not interested in him. So I guess now he believes and everything's fine now. So I guess she's like, okay, cool. But I would be like, bro, you almost put us in jeopardy. But it's like, I'm sure that won't happen again. But I'm like, bro, you literally almost put everybody, my whole city, my whole town in jeopardy, fucking around. Come to find out, the sisters are still alive. The kennel did nothing. They leave the school. They're searching for Max. Mary is trying to sniff him out, but instead she sniffs out Ice because he's wearing Max's stolen shoes. I need to put Mary on the force. She is in the wrong line of work. Like the cases that she could fucking solve with her snage alone. But Mary doesn't know that those shoes are stolen, so she thinks that her nose is fucked up. She's like, oh my god, it's the wrong kid. So the sisters walk away, and then here go Ice and Jay talking shit, and he calls them ugly chicks. And so the sisters take them back to the crib and put them up in some cages. Winifred is trying to remember the ingredients to the potion, but she can't, and she gives up. She's like, we're gonna die. It is what it is. There's nothing I can do without my spell book. So it's 5 a.m. We're back at the Dennison home, and Allison and Max open the fucking spell book, and then it's like a beacon of fucking light shoots through the fucking house. house. I don't think they can see it. They don't seem to be aware of it at all. Winifred sees this shit and she's like, oh my god, they opened the book. Let's follow it. So they start to follow the light, and it seems that Allison and Max were trying to help Binks somehow. Binks sees that they've opened the book and shuts it down. He shuts the book. He's like, nothing good can come out of that book. Y'all need to stop. The only thing valuable that they got from the book was that salt can act as a barrier for the witches. So Allison is like, okay, I'm gonna go home. And she's telling Max, like, I would feel a lot safer if I went home with some salt. So they go in the kitchen, they go get some salt, and then they hear a thud upstairs. They go upstairs and the witches are there. They have Danny, they have Winifred's spellbook, and they have Thackeray Binks. And the sisters fly up out of there, and they're literally flying on like a broom, a mop, and a vacuum because their brooms got stolen. And on their way back, Sarah is summoning the Salem children to go to their home so, you know, they can eat their life force. So Max and Allison take his parents' truck to go rescue Danny. And as they're driving, they see that the road is nearly blocked by children mesmerized in a spell walking towards the Sanderson. It's getting down to the wire at this point. Morning is approaching. They need to get a move on it. Sisters are finishing up the potion. They go to give it to Danny, but Max comes in just enough time and he does like a whole bit yet again where it's like, magic and shit. And it's like, the sun is here. And so the room fills with sun. The sisters fall out. Max grabs Danny. He knocks over the cauldron, spilling the potion. He takes his shoes back from ice and he gets the fuck out of there. And Danny is like, hold up, no. She's like, I want to see them burn. And I know that's right, because after the failed kennel situation, I would want to see that shit too. I would want to confirm that we can go home and finally go to sleep. But then when Max and Danny go outside, we see that the sun actually hasn't risen and that they just put like orange tape over the headlights of the truck so it only looks that way. So once Danny sees that, she's like, oh fuck, we need to get the fuck out of here. And the way these placebos are fucking these sisters up, oh my god. First the raining death thing, and then now the fake sun. Because if they really just sat there, like they're so fucking dramatic. Like if they just sat there, they would be like, oh, this is water. Oh, that's just a regular light. They drive off. The sisters realize that it wasn't actually the sun, and they're like, fuck, we were tricked again. And they see that there's enough potion left for one child. It's like the entire movie, Sarah and Mary have been on some wacky shit. All the sisters have been on some wacky shit, but Sarah and Mary in this moment are making the most sense. And they tell Winifred, they say, hey, look, we have the book of spells here. We can just make more potion. We have 2 boys dangling on our ceiling right now. We have a herd of children coming to our home right now. Like, we have options and we could do this shit. Like, we can make it happen. And Winifred says, no. She said, I want Danny. And I get it. Okay, while they were holding Danny captive, you know, Danny was talking a little shit, calling them ugly and shit. But I'm like, girl, it's not worth it. Don't do it, Winifred. So they go to the cemetery because, like I said, the witches can't step foot in there. Billy is there. Billy Butcherson is there. And Max tells everybody to run ahead. He pulls out a pocket knife. And then Winifred shows up. Billy grabs Max, grabs his pocket knife, cuts his stitched mouth open. And everything that comes out of this man's mouth is, I don't fuck with Winifred. I don't like Winifred. Winifred is a fake ass, snake ass bitch. I don't like her. I don't fuck with her. He's not team Winifred at all. So now that we know that Billy is team Dennison, we're good to go. So Max and Billy walk towards the rest of the group, and Danny and Allison are not having it. As soon as they see Billy, they say, At some point, Allison tells Max, she says, get out the way. Let me handle this. She has a big ass branch ready to fuck Billy up. And he's like, no, he's cool. He's with us. So at this point, everybody's up to speed. They know that Winifred is coming after Danny specifically. So they put Danny in Billy's empty grave. They put a barrier of salt around the grave. So the sisters come flying through the cemetery. Billy gets his head knocked off. So Danny is trying to be nice and shit. She leaves the empty grave and goes to hand Billy his head, and then Winifred grabs her. Winifred is trying to get Danny to drink the potion. Binks jumps on Winifred, causing her to drop the potion. Max grabs the potion, drinks the potion, and basically forces Winifred's hand. So it's like if she wants, you know, to absorb anybody's essence, it's now gonna have to be Max. Winifred disregards Danny. She grabs Max and starts like, you know, yum, 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 absorbing his life force. Max is trying to fight her off. They both end up falling into the cemetery. And like I said before, the witches cannot set foot in the cemetery. That being said, Winifred turns the stone. The sun comes up, she explodes, Sarah and Mary explode, and that is the end of the Sanderson sisters. We see that Binks has died for sure this time. He's no longer immortal, and Danny at first is really sad until she sees Thackeray Binks, the human in spirit, being reunited with Emily, and Thackeray leaves her with some kind parting words, and it's really sweet. She's crying, everybody's happy, and everybody, it's all good. The end.
I put a spell on you.
I know I gave Max a lot of shit for lighting the candle and being a virgin and all, but I think it's good that he did so, because that way Thackeray could finally be reunited with his family. Because it wouldn't have happened otherwise. He would have just kept living on and on and on. So I guess all of that needed to happen. Because it wasn't like, you know, he fucked up big time and then broke even. Like, okay, I fucked up and now we're back to normal and nothing good has changed. Nothing bad has changed. We went through some shitty shit, but now it's back to normal. But now it's like, you've done good, okay? You set a spirit free. That's a good kudos. So now we're on to the 2007 film Trick or Treat, as suggested by these lovely subscribers here. If you would like to watch somebody react to it, please go check out Chu's video here. And tell them Lodge Modge sent ya. So it's Halloween night and a bunch of shit goes down. So first we have a young couple, Emma and Henry, who are returning home from a Halloween festival. Emma fucking hates Halloween, okay? There's no other way to put it. She says it herself. She hates Halloween and she's over it and she's ready to shut it down. Emma goes to blow out the candle in their jack-o'-lantern and Henry says, hold up, wait, don't do that. That's bad luck. You're breaking tradition. Don't do that shit. And she does it anyways. Henry is like cautioning her, like, you know, you could really piss somebody off. You're kind of fucking up the tradition here. You're not supposed to do that. Emma could not care less. She's ready to shut it down. She's ready to clean the decorations up that night. And let me tell you, their lawn and like the whole front of their house is like hella decorations. There's absolutely no way that I would be doing that night. That would have to wait. Like it would be quite a minute. If I had decorations to that extent, like there's no me taking it down the night of, okay? It's not happening. Emma starts taking down their Halloween decorations and she tells Henry to go upstairs and you know, start their tape. The tape it's an adult film. I don't know what freaky deaky shit was gonna happen when she made it upstairs, but Henry got it started. And so while Emma is in the front yard cleaning, she gets attacked and killed. At some point, Emma screams and Henry has fallen asleep. He wakes up, thinks the scream is coming from his adult film that he's watching, and then he falls back asleep. Eventually, he goes downstairs to check on Emma and finds her dead. Then we see the festival from earlier that evening, and this is a Halloween town if I've ever seen a Halloween town. The fact that they have like a whole parade dedicated to Halloween, everybody's dressed up in costumes, everybody's vibing, it looks like such a good time. Away from the parade and in the neighborhood where children are trick-or-treating, we meet Charlie. Charlie is like smashing pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns and shit, and he comes across a house with a bowl full of candy and a sign that says take one piece. Being that the bowl is unattended and Charlie's over here smashing pumpkins, he doesn't care. He doesn't give a fuck about that take one piece sign. He's taking the whole bowl. And just as he's doing so, the school's principal, Mr. Wilkins, walks up. And apparently that's Mr. Wilkins' house. Mr. Wilkins ends up sitting on the porch with Charlie while he's carving a pumpkin. He gives Charlie a piece of candy and he's kind of just lecturing him about respecting the traditions of Halloween. So Charlie is eating his candy bar and he starts coughing. And he starts vomiting real bad. And it seems that Mr. Wilkins has spiked his candy bar. Charlie passes out and Mr. Wilkins drags him inside of his home. Mr. Wilkins doesn't get far before trick-or-treaters start knocking on his door. When he opens the door, he realizes it's students from his school. They get their candy and they ask if they can borrow a jack-o'-lantern. And when they see him, you know, covered in blood, they just assume that it's a costume. We also briefly meet Sam, and Sam is more of a thing than anything, and he does not fuck around when it comes to Halloween. Principal Wilkins is dragging Charlie to an occupied grave in the backyard. That's right, there's somebody that's already in the ground. We find out that Mr. Wilkins has a son, Billy, who has just returned home from trick-or-treating. And I get that what Principal Wilkins is doing is a bad thing, but the way that Billy is yelling and bringing attention to the backyard where there are bodies is unnerving for me. Yes, I do think there should be attention brought to that. You know, Mr. Wilkins shouldn't be out here doing this shit, but something about Billy yelling and being like, "Daddy, Daddy," like he was just doing too much for me. So the Wilkins have a grumpy old neighbor, Mr. Krieg, and Mr. Krieg's dog Spite is outside barking at Mr. Wilkins. This causes Mr. Krieg to go outside and see what's going on. One of the bodies that Mr. Wilkins buried is still alive, so he has to shush that person up and try to explain to Mr. Krieg that he's just down there working on his septic tank. So Mr. Krieg accepts that answer. He's like very grumpy about it and he goes inside. And then here goes Billy again, yelling, asking for help with his jack-o'-lantern. He's asking his dad if he can go to the parade with him. Mr. Wilkins says, "No, I have a date." I said, "Okay then, Mr. Wilkins." I mean, like, not okay. Like, you probably shouldn't be dating. You're out here murdering children. You probably need to be locked up somewhere. But go off, I guess. But Wilkins overall just seems like genuinely annoyed with Billy. He finishes up, you know, burying his bodies in the backyard. He plants a little tree, and as he's going inside, he hears Mr. Krieg, looks over. Mr. Krieg is like banging on his window, asking for help. And after the attitude that he gave Mr. Wilkins, he said, fuck you, I'm going back inside. So we see that Mr. Krieg gets attacked. Wilkins goes into the basement with Billy so they can carve a jack-o'-lantern. So I'm ready to see a goddamn motherfucking pumpkin. Instead, we see Charlie's severed head. And for Billy, this seems normal. Like, he doesn't seem confused or anything at all by this. He's just like, oh yeah, like this is what a jack-o'-lantern is in the household that I grew up in. And I feel so bad for Billy, bless his heart. So then we're properly introduced to the kids that we seen at Mr. Wilkins' place when they asked to borrow a jack-o'-lantern. So apparently they're going house to house asking for jack-o'-lanterns. So we have Macy, Chip, and Sarah, and they come upon Mrs. Henderson's house, and they're in there getting lit. I think they might be in there swinging as well. Everybody who pulled up might have a little pineapple bumper sticker going on. I don't know, but it looks like that is what's going on. But they're in there getting lit. Okay, they're playing Tony Tony Tone. Off the music that they're playing inside alone, it seems like a good time, but the kids look disgusted at whatever they've witnessed in that house. After witnessing Mrs. Henderson's fuckfest, they come across their friend Schrader, who is also out collecting jack-o'-lanterns. So Macy, who seems to be orchestrating their little jack-o'-lantern hunt, leads them to Rhonda's home, who I can only assume to be another classmate of theirs. And it's very clear Rhonda does not play about Halloween. She has hella jack-o'-lanterns up. Although they seem to be classmates of Rhonda's, they don't seem very nice to her at all. Like, they're calling her names and shit, and I just don't like anything that's going on here. So Macy, Chip, and Sarah walk away, leaving Schrader to swoon Rhonda. He's like complimenting her pumpkins and she's all blushing and stuff. Eventually, Macy leads them all to an abandoned walk quarry. And then she proceeds to tell them the most fucked up story of the Halloween school bus massacre. 30 years ago on Halloween, there is a group of 8 children that Macy describes as disturbed and troubled. The parents of the 8 children were ashamed and embarrassed of their kids, so they had their kids sent to school miles and miles outside of the neighborhood. One Halloween day, the parents grouped together, brought all their money together to pay the bus driver to get rid of their children. So it seems that the plan was for the bus driver to chain the students into their seats and push the bus into the quarry. One of the children realized something was off, escaped from his restraints, and trying to drive home, accidentally drives the bus into the quarry. Driver survived, but was never heard from again. And so Macy goes on to say that they're there to pay their respects. They have 8 jack-o'-lanterns to represent the 8 children, kind of to give as an offering. So there's this access control elevator, and Macy, Schrader, and Sarah go down, and Macy tells Rhonda and Chip that the elevator can only hold 3 people at a time. So Chip and Rhonda load up the elevator with the rest of the jack-o'-lanterns, and as they descend, they hear Macy, Schrader, and Sarah screaming. So Chip is freaking out, and by the time they get to the bottom, Chip is calling out to his friends, but nobody is responding. So Rhonda steps out of the elevator, and bless her heart, she's so sweet. She tells Chip, like, it's okay, like, if you're scared, just keep the jack-o'-lanterns lit and they'll keep you safe. So Rhonda is walking around, it's dark as fuck. She's trying to find the other 3. She can't find them, but she does see a bus in the quarry. And then something grabs her foot. She starts running. There are ghouls about. They're chasing her. She sees Chip is being eaten. She's running. She's being chased after. At some point, her glasses fall. Her glasses get smashed. And then she falls into the water and hits her head, and everything goes still. Rhonda is waking up, and as she's opening her eyes, she sees that she's surrounded by the ghouls, except they're not ghouls. They're the asshole kids playing a prank on her. And Rhonda is like crying. She's freaking out. Schrader is trying to comfort her, and he's like, you know, this was a bad prank. Like, and he's like, it's not real. He's just trying to comfort her and make sure that she's okay. Chip steps forward to try to comfort Rhonda, and then bitch ass Macy puts her hand up, and God forgive me, like, I know these are kids, but they're hypothetical kids, so fuck all of them for fucking up Rhonda like this. It was so fucked up. And it's like, Sarah, everybody has a look of remorse on their face except for Macy. You know they were being bullies and being an asshole, because it's like they could have done that prank amongst each other, amongst their friends, but it's like, no, you brought in Rhonda, who was just vibing, you know, doing whatever the fuck she was doing for Halloween, I don't know, carving hella jack-o'-lanterns and shit, and then y'all prank her like this, and then y'all have the nerve to break her fucking glasses in the process too. That's what that would have really had me fucked up. The moment I no longer have access to my glasses, the fun is over, the party is over, I'm done. So anyway, Schrader tells Chip, Macy, and Sarah to go pack it up. He tells them, get our shit, let's go, like, it's over, it's done, and he's just basically comforting Rhonda. So the 3 of them go pack their shit up. They see that a jack-o'-lantern is still lit, and so they blow out the candle. And so Chip is confused because he was like, okay, if this story was made up, why the fuck is there a bus out here? And Macy's like, oh no, most of the story was true, like that shit actually happened. And then they start to hear whispering and snickering. So Schrader is holding Rhonda when he hears screaming coming from the other side of the quarry. Schrader thinks that the other three are trying to continue on with the prank, so he's annoyed. So he tells Rhonda, like, wait here, I'm gonna go check it out. He goes, and there are real ghouls. It is the children from the fucking bus. They're running, trying to get out of there. Sarah gets snatched up, and by the time they run back to the elevator, Rhonda is in the elevator. She has that bitch locked, and she's chilling in there with the jack-o'-lanterns, and they're begging her. They're like, please let us in. Like, this is not a part of the prank. Like, please let us in. And she goes up. She leaves them motherfuckers down there, and I know that's motherfucking right. Like I said, the second my glasses got fucked up, you got me fucked up. And I don't think Rhonda thought that they were continuing to prank her. I think Rhonda knew that they fucked around and found out. And so as the elevator is rising up, you can just hear screaming and carnage, and it just does not sound great. Like, those kids are definitely down there getting killed. Once Rhonda makes it to the top, she sees Sam sees her, and they just go their separate ways. Well, honestly, I don't know how much of Sam Rhonda seen because she's not wearing her glasses. I know if it was me, I probably would have seen like a little bit of a shape. Like, I would have seen enough to know that there was somebody there. I almost felt bad for Schrader because he seemed to like feel genuine remorse. But I don't blame Rhonda for not trusting him, because it's like, why would you even participate in that type of prank anyways? So while all this is going on, there's another story in the works. In a secluded part of the Halloween parade, there's a woman getting cozy with a masked man. They're making out. She's really into it. She's so into it, in fact, that she doesn't realize that this man has bit her up. Like, baby girl is bleeding out. He takes a step back from her, and I said, my goodness, we have ghouls and now we have vampires. So realizing that the man was actually hurting her, the girl runs out to the parade and is asking a young couple for help. The young couple is Emma and Henry. Then Henry is pulling Emma away, and he's like, oh babe, she's just drunk. And they think that like it's a costume or something. And it's like, to be fair, there were people nearby that were drinking that looked just like her, and it looks like maybe she wandered off from her group. But I'm like, no, she's asking for help. Like, how do you not get that? So then the vampire pops up behind her, kills her, and then props her up next to other drunk parade goers. And baby girl is living a version of my biggest fear. One of my biggest fears is getting hurt, like somebody like trying to murder me in a haunted house, and then I'm like trying to get help, and people think I'm a fucking attraction. They're like, ah, oh my god, she's all bloody and scary and shit. When I'm like, no bitch, I need help. Because I feel like that's definitely what happened to her. Except if everybody thinking that she's an attraction, they just thought she was like drunk. So then we have a group of baddies that are in a costume store buying costumes for, you know, the festivities. We have Maria, Janet, Danielle, and Danielle's wholesome, inexperienced younger sister, Lori. And it seems that they're following a particular tradition. And so after they get their costumes, Danielle tells Lori that they need to find dates for their party. Danielle finds her date immediately, and she asks the costume store cashier if he would like to be her date for their little Halloween shindig. As the girly pops are walking through the parade, we again see Emma and Henry. So the girls are walking through the parade, and they're talking to Lori, and it seems that Lori is a virgin and is nervous about her first time. Lori decides to kind of wander around the parade by herself and tells her sister and their friends that she's gonna meet them at the party later on. And Maria is still trying to give Lori some advice. She's like telling her to play hard to get. And then you have her sister telling her to just be herself. So Lori is walking around the parade by herself, and she's seeing all these couples. They're all booed up, and you can tell she's really feeling down. All the while, the creepy masked vampire dude is behind her, and I'm like, girl, like, keep your guard up. Look behind you. Lori doesn't notice him watching her until she gets on the phone with her sister, who is telling her to hurry up and come to the party. So Lori is headed to the function, which is in the middle of the fucking woods apparently, when she hears somebody following her. So she's looking around, she's calling out to see if anybody's there, and then boom, he's right in front of her, and he grabs her and bites her. At the party, Danielle is waiting for Lori. She's starting to get worried when she hears one of the party goers scream. And almost as if she fell from the tree, Lori is wrapped in her little red hood and falls to the ground. Danielle goes to check on Lori, except it's not Lori. It's the masked vampire dude. I said, what the fuck is going on? And so Lori comes walking out of the woods. The curls are banging, but she's also like covered in blood. So it's like, what's going on? It's like, ooh, girl, you look kind of hot right now, but also you're covered in blood. Are you okay? So Danielle sees Lori, and to my surprise, Danielle is not surprised that Lori is there covered in blood or that there's a man wrapped in her hood. She just seems more upset that Lori is late. And so Danielle is asking Lori, like, okay, what the fuck happened to you? And she was like, oh, sorry, I was running a little late. It took a little longer than expected. And she was like, oh, I took Maria's advice. I played hard to get, and so I let him bite me. I said, let him? What is going on? Maria opens the masked dude's mouth, and he's not even a real fucking vampire. They're like fake vampire teeth. Then she takes off the dude's mask, and it's Principal Wilkins. He starts looking around the campfire. All the men are dead, and all the baddies are alive and well and thriving. Lori straddles Wilkins, and Danielle and her friends are looking at her all proud and shit. And then all the girlies start shedding their clothes, and then they start shedding their skins. They're werewolves. They're werewolves. And they're eating their party guests. And Sam is just randomly there watching the whole thing. Here I am thinking they were trying to get Lori to have sex, but it seems like it was her first kill as a werewolf. The fact that they're werewolves makes Lori's costume of Little Red Riding Hood even more iconic. Because one, of course, the fairy tale of Little Red Riding Hood, she has goodies she's trying to take to her granny, and then there's a wolf trying to infiltrate, and he's trying to eat everybody and shit. And you know, she is the wolf. But not only that, but in the fairy tale, Little Red Riding Hood, she's like defenseless and shit. She's like a damsel low-key. And in this instance, it's like, no, bitch, you need to be afraid of her. So even earlier that evening, we see Mr. Krieg in his home. And it seems his Halloween night consists of him drinking and burning photos in his fireplace. When it comes to trick-or-treaters, he literally sends his dog out Spite to go bark at them so they'll go away. And say it ain't so, but Mr. Krieg is a wheezer. Like, you can tell he has like respiratory problems. So he's inside and he sees that somebody is egging his house. And while that's happening, Spite runs outside and he's barking at Mr. Wilkins. Now, we've seen this scene before, but it was from Principal Wilkins' perspective. And this is very clearly before he was eaten by werewolves. And we already seen that whole bit where Mr. Krieg goes outside and he has that little conversation with Principal Wilkins, and then he goes back inside. So Mr. Krieg is back inside with Spite, and Spite is barking at the front door. So Mr. Krieg goes out with his bat, ready to fuck somebody up, and there's hella jack-o'-lanterns outside of his home that were not there before. Spite is barking at something upstairs, and we hear a child giggling. Mr. Krieg grabs a weapon, looks upstairs, and sees what looks to be Sam running across the hallway. And then we hear Spite crying and then go silent. I would have fucked Sam up that day, because what the fuck are you doing with my dog? So Mr. Krieg goes upstairs, he goes into the bedroom, and there's a jack-o'-lantern, and it lights the fuck up. Like, it's like a pyro show type thing. Like, it's hella flames. He looks on the ceiling and it says trick or treat, just written in all red, trick or treat, sell my feet, give me something good to eat, you know, the whole banter written hella times on his ceiling. And it's like, at what point do you just run up out of your house? At what point do you just say, I'm just gonna leave, this is no longer my problem? But Mr. Krieg is standing there, and then he gets stabbed underneath the bed, and then it is revealed that it is for sure Sam in his perfectly round head that's doing all of this shit. Mr. Krieg goes to run downstairs. He ends up falling down the stairs. The stairs are covered with candy and glass, and he's falling down the stairs. His hands are fucked up from the glass. He tries to leave. He has all these locks on his door, but it's painful for him to try to unlock it because his hands are injured. So we see Sam crawling on the ceiling. He drops down on Mr. Krieg and just attacks him. And we've already seen a moment of this scene from Mr. Wilkins' perspective, where Mr. Krieg is yelling, trying to get his attention, but Mr. Wilkins disregards him and goes inside. But Mr. Krieg is tussling with Sam. Sam's mask comes off, and no, it needs to go right back on. I said, what are you, Sam? That's horrifying. Like, you thought the overall vibe of Sam was a little creepy, like, oh, he has a creepy little sack on his head and he has a creepy little body and shit. But then it's like his actual face, like if there was a time for him to roll around with bare face, it's now for Halloween. So Mr. Krieg shoots Sam a couple of times, and we see that Sam has pumpkin filling like in his body, which shouldn't be a surprise because of his head, but I was like, his body too? Mr. Krieg tries to call 911, but then the phone line is unplugged. And then Sam's detached hand stabs him. The hand reattaches itself. Sam wakes up and puts his mask on. Thank God. I said, cover that up. Like, no shade, but cover it up. It's scary. So bam, it's ding ding round 2. Krieg is defenseless at this point, and we think that Sam is about to land the killing blow, but instead he just takes the candy bar and then fucking leaves. That's it. And we get a close-up of Mr. Krieg's fireplace, and we see a photo of him when he was younger. He was the bus driver to the 8 kids. That's probably why he sounds all wheezy, because he barely made it out of the bus in time to survive. After I seen that, I said, oh, he earned that ass beating. Granted, it seems that Sam only gets on people who don't respect Halloween tradition. So later on that night, Mr. Krieg is all bandaged up and he's handing out candy, participating in Halloween traditions. I love that for him. You see Billy is outside handing out candy by himself because we know Wilkins is not returning home as he has been eaten. You have Rhonda, who's returning home from the quarry, and she nearly gets hit by a car. And who's driving the car? It's our werewolf baddies. And this is very clearly after they had their feast in the woods. Then you have Sam, who seems to be watching Krieg, and I can tell he's looking at him like, you're not gonna fuck up, right? You're gonna keep up with the Halloween traditions, right? And he's watching him. That is until Emma and Henry return home from the Halloween parade, and he sees that Emma has blown out the jack-o'-lantern. And so that's how Emma dies. Before, we didn't know who killed her or what the fuck happened, but now we know she broke a Halloween tradition, and so Sam had to go handle that shit. So Krieg watches Sam as he crosses the street, and then he just goes inside. When he hears a knock at the door, it seems to be more trick-or-treaters, except no, it's the 8 kids that he abandoned in the quarry those 30 years ago. And they get his ass, which as they should, because what the fuck, why would you do that? With Trick or Treat, it's definitely one of those movies I wish I could watch for the first time again. It's such a staple for Halloween, and really any anthology thriller, you know, Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Hood, I'm locked in and I'm invested. It's something about getting multiple stories in one little situation. It's like a BOGO deal or a WOGP deal. Watch one, get plenty. I feel like all year round we can get spooky, you know what I mean? I'm spooky all year round, but I did want to share a couple of the movies that I don't get spooky with all year round. Like these movies in particular, and I do have some others of course, but these movies in particular I only watch during Halloween time just because, you know, they take place on Halloween. I feel like it just goes with the Halloween vibes. Even though it's currently 90 fucking degrees outside, I don't feel the insiest bit of spooky in my city. But you know, I can only dream. But yes, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. And I hope you have a fantastic Halloween. Please be safe. Please check your candies if you're out trick-or-treating or if you're out partying. Make sure you don't drink and drive, okay? Get home safely, please. And drink some water, bitch. Okay, bye!